Previously on Skyscraper. What if I told you that his passion somehow captured the heart of a fan many, many miles away? Xu was born on August 20th, 1954 in Guangzhou, China, who at a young age already developed kleptomania. Kleptomania is the inability to resist urges to steal items that you don't actually need. By the time he was 20 years old, he was already sent to labor camp for theft. By the time he was 22, while he was in the act of stealing again, he got caught by a woman. And to try to shush her from calling the police, he killed her with a tire iron. After killing her, he actually got what he wanted, which was not getting arrested at all. Just 6 years later, he was sent to prison for theft yet again. And while he was in prison, he was able to steal more things such as women's clothing and underwear. In 1987, he was released from prison. And while he was a free man, he became obsessed with watching videotapes of pornography and graphic violence. And one day on TV, he discovered his idol. And that idol was a famous killer in Hong Kong at around that time. His name was Corwan. Corwan was the rainy night butcher. His other nickname was the Jars Murderer, where he killed victims and cut off their genitals and stored them in Tupperware containers. Xu then realized he would love to imitate Corwan's acts. Beginning in 1989, he would start picking up prostitutes in his truck. In 1990, he picked up a woman, he drove her to a farm, raped her, killed her, raped her body afterwards, and then dumped her body into a river. The lack of investigative success gave Xu confidence as a killer, especially due to the lack of advanced technology, and especially due to the fact that Xu looked like a very honest man. And beginning in the year 1991, he began killing prostitutes under 4 conditions. 1. Anyone who refused to have sex with him. 2. Anyone who asked him to wear a condom. 3. Anyone who did not allow him to have sex with her more than once. And 4. Anyone who checked his license plate. And as for the murders, he would do them late at night. He would strangle all of his victims and hide the bodies in his attic. He would then cut off the vulvas from the victims' bodies and stuff socks into the vaginal areas. And because of the abundance of confidence in Xu, he decided to challenge the police. He left semen inside the vulvas of his victims. He would then place the corpses within burlap sacks, oil drums, and wooden boxes, and then he would just dump them in town. One night he was actually caught by his wife in the act of disposing the corpse, but he lied to his wife and told her that this was just a car accident, he was just trying to cover it up. After each murder, Xu would write about the entire thing. He would write about the victim's physical features. He would write about the victim's clothes, his sexual experiences with the victims, his own feelings, as well as how he disposed of each body. He would then reread these accounts for self-gratification. Unfortunately for Xu, he would have to burn his notebook because the police were tightening on their investigation. In 1992, Xu was arrested for soliciting prostitutes, and he was sent to labor camp for 6 months. After he got out, he laid low and stopped killing for a while until 1994. Xu would kill an additional 4 prostitutes. Even though Xu was never caught by some of the killings that he had done in the past, his luck was about to run out. During the investigation, the police had 4 leads. All of the bodies were dumped within the same area, so they assumed that the killer must have lived nearby. The victims either looked like prostitutes or were actually prostitutes themselves, which meant to the police that the killer really hated women or he hated the profession, and they were able to narrow the age of the killer down to between 20 to 40 years old. Because all the killings involved mutilation and insertion of objects into the victim's genitalia, the police were now sure that the killer really hated women. Police found tire marks on all the dump sites, and so they investigated all cars for matching tire marks. Shu's reign of terror ended on September 19, 1994, when a woman reported to the police that she had her handbag stolen and was almost killed by a stranger on the train. She was able to identify Shu as the assailant. Police then went to Shu's home and did a thorough search, where they found tons of women's clothing and lingerie. And after some interrogation, Shu confessed to all the killings. His total body count was 19. On January 18, 1995, he was convicted of all counts of murder, and he was shot to death 2 days later on January 20th, 1995. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe.